Hey y'all, I'm Brer Sam, and this is one of my movie reviews. This time I'm reviewing Look for the Silver Lining. Yeah, it's another one of those biopics that Ray Bolger was in. Unlike the great Ziegfeld, he plays a huge role in this. And I mean huge. Yeah. It's a biopic of an old vaudeville dancer, Marilyn Miller. She was one of the earliest dancers on vaudeville and Broadway. She was like 1920s dancing. And Ray plays her mentor slash idol slash friend, Jack Donahue. And he was a real dancer too. He appeared in, I think it was Sunny with Marilyn Miller. So it's a biopic on Marilyn Miller's life. Of course, they had to have put some changes because at the time this movie was made, it was still pretty close to when she died, and she was pretty young when she died. She was probably in her 30s. So, for example, her family name was not actually Miller, it was Reynolds, so I've read. But in the film, her family name is Miller, and you see her come to her parents' house for the holidays. Her parents and sisters are a vaudeville act called the Four Colombians. And her father at first doesn't want another person in the act because of the finance. But then he sees her dance, and actually the way that works is her father gets the mumps, and Marilyn goes onto the stage with Jack Donahue, and the audience loves her, and the theater manager decides to put her in the act, and her father relents. She's in the act, and ultimately she gets popular enough to be her own act, and she becomes her own act. She appears in a buttload of plays. She gets her first husband, Frank, played by Gordon McRae. That's basically what you would expect out of a biopic of a dancer, watching her get her big break. And they don't hesitate to show that she was young and she did have a lot to learn. Like, for example, there was one scene where they reenact Uncle Tom's Cabin as the five Colombians. There are five now with Marilyn in the act. And she is on the wire or something. She's supposed to be rising up to heaven. And she's like, oh my goodness, I'm stuck. And that's completely out of character. So she learns that when she's on stage, she needs to always remain in character. So it's not all dancing in performing. And also, that scene itself is my least favorite in the film because they're reenacting Uncle Tom's Cabin. That was a novel that was written at the time of the Civil War. So some of the cast was painting themselves black to portray Uncle Tom and all those people. Yeah, that would not be acceptable today. So the movie did a good job playing an amateur performer, getting her big break, and I'm sure it did get a lot of things right. Like, of course, Marilyn Miller and Jack Donahue and Frank, Marilyn's first husband, were real. And they portray them very well. That's June Haver as Marilyn Miller, and she did pretty good. She actually looked like a little 12-year-old girl who was about to get her big break at a young age, and you see her grow up, and she actually got a lot prettier as she grew up, which is kind of natural. So in terms of looks, she did okay, and as a performer, she did relatively well. June, this is my first time seeing her in something. And I read that she later married Fred McMurray, so that had to add to something. She married a guy like him. And she's buried in the same mausoleum as Ray Bolger. That's cool. And Ray Bolger is Jack Donahue, and he is one of the best mentors that I've seen in classic movies. He's actually helping this girl make her way in life and actually get her big break, and she falls in love with him, but he's actually married, and the way that he breaks it to her was nice. I actually like that he went easy on her. Like, he says, I'm flattered, but I'm married. He actually shows her a picture of this baby that was supposed to be his, which I actually found rather hilarious because Ray Bolger did not have children. But it was nice that he broke it to her and went easy on her and still remained friends with her. Like, you don't usually see that. Like, he calls her princess the entire movie. It's really sweet. Like, imagine meeting your idol, watching him dance, and then suddenly going up there with him, and he suddenly gets you your big break and says, "Welcome to show business, princess." Yeah, imagine that. So Ray is basically every schoolgirl's dream come true in this movie. If I did have to pick one other thing that I kind of had a problem with, it's the relationship between Marilyn and her husband, Frank. I mean, don't get me wrong, they did have a happy marriage, and Gordon McRae plays Frank relatively well. And there are tons of moments where Frank gives her this little elephant figurine that's supposed to be like a good luck charm for thespians. But he teases her a lot and kind of makes her doubt herself at times. And maybe he's just trying to motivate her. If that's the case, then he motivates her pretty well, getting her angry enough to forget how afraid she is. But still, I'm not sure that was what he was trying to do. But despite that, it's a decent biopic. It actually made me want to learn more about Marilyn Miller and maybe see stuff that she was actually in. And as a matter of fact, the play that she did, Sunny, is in it, and Ray Bolger was actually in the film adaptation of Sunny. And I kind of want to see it now. You guys think I should see it? Drop a comment. So this was a very interesting movie that makes me want to learn more about the person it was about. So I do like it. I really do like it. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye!